Increasing the minimum wage never increases inflation because inflation doesn't come from the average person having more dollars. Inflation comes from having less demand for dollars in the economy as a whole. So while it is true, if the government were to print a whole lot of money and give it to everyone in the economy and then not tax that money back out of the economy, that we would see inflation. That is not what is happening when you increase minimum wage. What you are actually doing is trading the demand of the dollar off of everyday people like you or me and onto the backs of companies that can afford it. Because your wages don't come from just arbitrarily printed money for the most part. Your wages come from revenue from having done work, which means that every dollar you receive in wages is a dollar someone else doesn't have, maintaining the consistent demand for that dollar in the economy. So, why is it better for companies to hold that demand and not the consumer? Well, a lot of us as consumers don't really care about having infinite dollars. If I have a secure place for my family and I to stay, food on the table, and some time to go out and hang out with friends and have fun, I, for the most part, am satisfied, and much of the world feels the same way. But the thing is, companies are purely created to drive profits, to try and generate revenue. But theoretically, they can only generate that revenue from consumers. But if the average consumer doesn't really need or want all that much compared to companies that want kind of infinitely, then that means those companies will have to keep prices low in order to continue to attract customers. Because companies are systems for organizing labor and creating products and services. You want to motivate those systems to do better by the economy. You want to motivate those systems to create more and do more. You don't want to motivate the consumer. You don't want to motivate workers to have to go out and spend more of their lives and work harder and break down and burn out faster because, and this is true, workers are human beings, and creating a better quality of life for human beings is entirely the point. But putting systems under certain degrees of stress so that human beings don't have to face the stress is the point of systems. It is always okay to make companies feel like they need to work harder for their profits because that is the entire point of their existence. Meanwhile, forcing workers to continually, infinitely work harder is the definition of subjugation.